So,
Okay, so
here, hold on.
just do this here. Yeah. Just make sure. Yeah. And write 6 sour across the top there, so I know.
Find your seats. We're going to get started. Once again, good evening and welcome to the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association Banquet. Tonight's banquet honors some of harness racing's greatest moments, amazing participants, and spectacular racehorses. The state of Ohio is second to none in its efforts to promote, market, and publicize harness racing. We should be proud of ourselves. OH! We're at a new facility this year, so quick reminder that the bathrooms are in the back, just outside these doors here. So when Amy Holler comes up to give her speech, you'll know where to go. If you hear any beeping throughout the evening, we heard some earlier, it's not the sound of a fire alarm you hear. It's the sound of the Burke Brigade backing up their U-Haul to collect their trophies. Quick note about speeches. If your speech is the length of a Northfield Park race program and it drags out, please save it for the after party. A couple of notes about tonight's events. We will honor the Human Awards first, prior to dinner, and then after dinner, we will honor our equine athletes. Winners of the raffle, which ends at 5:30, by the way, will be displayed at the raffle table. Prizes can only be picked up at the end of the evening. Remember to bring your raffle ticket with you to claim your prize. We'd like to thank the Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Writers Association for the banquet programs this evening. Please make sure to try one of the Captain Kirk cocktails. A portion of each drink sale will be donated to a great cause in the Standardbred Transition Alliance. Don't forget about PACER this evening while you're here, the Political Action Committee for Equine Racing. You can donate to ensure government advocacy for standardbred horse racing in Ohio. See any of the OHHA staff members for more information. When you're accepting your award this evening, please enter the stage over here to my right, and you'll exit over here to my left. You'll receive your trophy, and then you'll go to the photo area down over here to see Brad for a photo, and then you'll head out the door to see Roger Houston or Ashley Daly for an interview. At this time, we'd like to introduce some special guests. Please hold your applause until the end. Senator Andrew Brenner, Representative Jim Beakey, Representative Scott Lips, Department of Agriculture Deputy Director Jared Parco, Rick Carfagna and Matt McLaurin with the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, USTA District 1 Directors Dr. John Marsberger, Kevin Greenfield, Jason Roth, and Steve Bateson. The Ohio Standardbred Development Fund Committee, Mr. Dick McClelland, Sanina Esty, Mark Adams. From the Ohio State Racing Commission, Commissioner Greg Simpson and Rick and Kathy Moore. All of the members of the Little Brown Jug Society. From Scioto Downs, Joe Morris, Jason Roth, Luke Russell, Jenna Otten, Tim George, and Kevin Southall. And from MGM Northfield Park, Tom Aldrich. And from Miami Valley Gaming and Hollywood Gaming, Chris Santa Catarina. At this time, we'd like to welcome John Koneski to the stage as he'll introduce the re-elected members of the OHHA Board of Directors.
Okay, this year's in our elections, we have no contested candidates. So these are the candidates that are, what do we call? They're going to be up for 3 more years because their terms run from 25 to 28. In the breeders category, we have directors Kelsey Bringman, Scott Hagemeyer, and Jacob Mossberger. The driver trainers directors are Jim Arledge, Chris Beaver, and Roy Burns. The owner directors are Mary Jo Brini Ross, Randy Leopard, and Kent Saunders. Those people will serve 3-year terms. Re-elected by a landslide this year is our president, Scott Mogan. Maybe next year we'll find somebody to run against him, I'm not sure. But anyway, he did a great job. I kidding saying that. It's been a tough year. They stepped in, did a great job. Our vice president will once again be Mr. Randy Haynes, and again, he deserves a lot of credit too. Our people that were on the various committees did a great job. Everybody worked together, and we're still doing just fine. So those are our directors for another 3 years that were unopposed this year. Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to welcome OHHA President Scott Mogan to the stage.
Well, John took half of my speech there, and when he said looking for somebody to run against me, anybody wants to throw a hat in the ring, that's fine. But anyways, I want to welcome everybody. We have a record crowd tonight. Thanks for everybody turning out. We'll celebrate another great year in Ohio and celebrate a lot of great horses. And I always say, that's pretty much what tonight's about for me is the horses, so I'll try to be brief. I want to thank our board, as John just said something about. Remember, we have a volunteer board, and they take a lot of time out of their personal lives, their business. They've all either businessmen or breeding. They have breeding farms, some of them, and they do a great job. And like I said, it's a volunteer board, and they are really a great group of people. And our staff. We had a kind of this my first year as president, and we had a situation when we were 4.5, 5 months without an executive director. And the staff in the office stepped up and did an amazing job filling that void. It wasn't easy at times for them, but they seemed to do it. But not just then, they're just from top to bottom, our track reps and the PR outreach, that group travels all over Ohio do their fair broadcast. And I mean, when I say all over Ohio, they're all over the state of Ohio to these county fairs, sometimes doing one fair in the afternoon, packing up and going doing a second one. So, and same way with the board and the staff, they don't get a lot of thanks. Mainly they get complaints. So, maybe thank them once in a while for their jobs. Real quick, there's two people I want to point out, Jim Beakey and Bob Smits. They were the first two people to contact me when I became president, and they said they're a phone call away, and they always were, so thank you guys. I want to thank the track management. You've all been great to work with. Of course, I knew Scioto Downs, second home for me, but you guys we've had a great year. Northfield Park did a great job with the Sire Stakes finals. We just finished a successful meet at Dayton. Miami Valley's 10 days into a new meet. They'll start our stakes program off in May with the Hacketts. And then on to Scioto Downs, and about 75% away through, I should say, from a brand new 16 race paddock, ship-in paddock. And it's going to be amazing at Scioto. So looking forward to that. Like I said, I've been there 50 years. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Stake program strong. I think we got the best program in the country. Overnight purses, great. But with that being said, I don't think we can sit back and pat ourselves on the back what we have. We have to continue to work to make things better, to preserve what we have, and we'll do that. The OHHL worked tirelessly to do that, but I'm going to ask you people, our members, to kind of get involved also. Know your state representatives, your state senators from your district. Get to know them. And I'll give you a quick example. Some of you know, some of them know what happened to Warren County. And they got the most populated county fairgrounds with training horses. And they were notified the 1st of November, December 1st, they were shutting the barn area down. They had to be out. And I talked to Andrew Mitten, our lobbyist. He contacted Representative Scott Lips. And in the meantime, Scott Hagemeyer was friends with him. He has Hagemeyer Farms in that area. He'd already contacted Representative Lips, and so he had the contact to be able to get the ball rolling. And we were able to situate it for a while. We got it delayed. We're hoping for a long-term solution. But, you know, just get to know your representatives. We got a lot of great representatives. I've met a lot of them through meet and greets. A lot of them they support us greatly, but we have new legislators coming in all the time that we know we need to educate them a little bit about what our industry means to the state of Ohio. And like I said, you guys can do that through that. And the other way you can do it is, this is on every one of your tables. I think Michael touched on that. Support PACER. It's our PAC fund, and every dollar goes to the representatives, legislators that support us. So this is a team effort, and everybody sit back, enjoy tonight, and looking forward to all the awards and the horses. So thanks for coming again, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Scott. Next up will be the Executive Director, Frank Fraz.
Thank you, Michael. I started with the OHHA back in 2019, and I remember my interview with Steve Bateson and Randy Leppert. And having spent a lot of my career in sales, if you get your prospect nodding their heads, well, you know you're doing something right. As the interview went on and on, Randy and Steve looked like the little dog in the back of the car. Their head was bobbing up and down. As the interview was wrapping up, it was mentioned I forgot to tell them something. I was starting to worry, thinking to myself, oh no, what did I forget? Well, then it was mentioned that I had owned racehorses nearly 30 years ago. I think that made them feel a little more comfortable. 4 buddies and I started a little stable that grew from 1 claimer to about 7 at one point, and I was hooked. I was about a month into the job when I was heading to the Springfield sale. As I left the house, I said to my wife, did you ever think you'd be married to a guy who was going to a horse auction? The answer was a resounding no. And, you know, that led to where I am today, and it has been great working at the OHHA. I just wish I would have found this job a little bit sooner in my career. From creating fantasy races with Roger Houston during COVID to live streaming county fair races across the world, it's been an amazing ride. Ohio harness racing is in a great spot. 2024 was a banner year, and we are here tonight to honor all those that made it that. First, I would like to thank the OHHA Board of Directors for giving me the opportunity to lead this organization. I'm honored and privileged to take the helm. I stand here tonight and promise everybody in this room I will work tirelessly to keep our industry moving forward. My plan is to be out and about, at the tracks, at the fairs, wherever I am needed. This is not an office job. The last half of 2024 offered some unique challenges, but because of our staff, as Scott mentioned, we were able to continue to forge ahead. This is not a one-person job. I've told many people it is because of the hard work of the OHHA team that we are where we are today. Woody Hayes says you win with people. We win at the OHHA because of our staff. Susan Schroeder, Ashley Daly, Matt Clark, and Kim Poma continue to put the organization in the spotlight not only in Ohio, but North America and around the world. Linda Nance, Sherry Johnson, and Patty Lewis keep the office running smoothly, addressing the needs of our 3,700 members. And Amy Holler and Brett Merkel, they're the boots on the ground, working daily with the horsemen. Without this staff, nothing would get done. Please give a round of applause to the OHHA staff. 2024 was an unbelievable year in the Buckeye State. 39 of the Breeders' Crowns finalists had a connection to Ohio. They were Ohio breds, Ohio owned, Ohio trained, or Ohio driven in the Breeders' Crown, and that number continues to grow every year. This year, a champion was driven by an Ohioan and another solely owned by an Ohioan. Warhorse, Southwind Amazon, became the all-time winningest horse in history right here in the Buckeye State. Now he gets to enjoy retirement. It's Academic crossed the $2.7 million mark and is the highest earning Ohio bred of all time. Aaron Merriman collected his 10th National Dash title in a row. We had drivers and trainers hitting milestone and milestone all year long. there is no doubt that 2025 will be just as exciting. As we move into 2025, our focus will be to forge ahead with the initiatives that follow the OHHA's objectives to preserve, protect, promote, and serve the standardbred industry in Ohio. We are here tonight to honor the great performances of 2024, but we are also here to honor three of the greats of Ohio harness racing, Skip Hoovler, Laverne Hill, and KF Pro Sam, as they are inducted into the Ohio Harness Racing Hall of Fame. We thank Scioto Downs for their display recognizing the living members of the Hall of Fame, but it's time that we permanently recognize the other members of our Hall of Fame, the immortal members and the Equine Hall of Famers. In conjunction with the Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Writers Association, we will be unveiling the Ohio Harness Racing Hall of Fame website to preserve the history of Ohio harness racing. The website will feature biographies of all the inductees, pictures, and videos. It'll give fans a chance to look back at Ohio harness racing history and honor the people and the horses that made it what it is today. One of the biggest ways we can protect our industry is to continue to grow our Political Action Committee PACER. Michael touched on it, Scott talked about it. I will be asking for your support throughout the year. So why don't you take the time now, grab one of those cards, fill it out and turn it in, and when I see you next time, you can say, I already gave, and you don't have to worry about me coming after you. The OHHA will continue its efforts to promote Ohio harness racing, not only in the state, but across the world. Last year, coverage of the Ohio County Fairs was seen around the world. During one of our broadcasts in the afternoon, we had a gentleman in Scotland watching and eating dinner. On the other side of the world, in Australia, another gentleman was having breakfast while he enjoyed the racing. Think about that. We span the globe with Ohio County Fair racing. In 2025, we plan to live stream every race card from Ohio County Fairs again. Our coverage will also include live streams of the major racing cards throughout the year. Our efforts will also include an extensive marketing plan in industry publications and websites, television commercials and network broadcasts of major events, and at the local level, campaigns to promote racing at the county fair level. And finally, we continually hear that one of the biggest challenges facing Ohio horsemen is finding people to work. We will soon be conducting a statewide campaign to help trainers and breeding farms find the help they needed. We will be unveiling OhioHorseJobs.com, a place where you can place your help wanted ads that will be supported with advertising across the state. I promised the staff this wouldn't be a long one, and so let's turn things back over to Michael Carter and start honoring those that made 2024 great. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you to all of those who have bought raffle tickets. And at this time, to award the first annual scholarship to Aubrey Schwartz, we'd like to welcome Jacob Mossberger.
Good evening, everyone. It's my special privilege to get Aubrey up here tonight. Her family goes way back with ours, so it's cool that she gets the first annual OHHA Equine Vocation Scholarship. And like Michael said, it's all proceeds from the raffle tickets you guys bought tonight over the years. So continue to buy those raffle tickets, and we'll continue to have this scholarship for these young individuals. Aubrey's a graduate from Wilmington College, and her studies are in agriculture, and she's got a great upbringing in the industry, like I mentioned before, and her values and her experience in agricultural business and with the harness racing is second to none, and I think she was a great candidate for this award. So let's give a round of applause to Aubrey Schwartz.
I'm very appreciative of this. I've always loved the OHHA. I've got to travel the state, being a state officer for 2 years for FFA, and I've gotten to share the message of what harness racing is when a lot of kids don't really know why there's carts on the backs of these horses when they go to the county fair. Drug some of my friends to learn how to bet on the horses and the ponies when they're the age of it. But I appreciate it. I'm excited to teach about the harness racing industry in my classroom when I'm an ag teacher one day. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Representative Jim Beakey and members of the Holton family who will present the Terry Holton Youth Award to Braden Rhodes.
Thank you, Michael, and fellow members of the OHHA. For years, I've had the privilege of presenting the Ryan Holton Youth Award, which, of course, was named after a young man. I'm sorry, the Terry Holton. I'm talking to Ryan back here. I'll be all right. You got to see me with ice cream cones. The Terry Holton Youth Award, named after Terry, who was just a country boy from Licking County who became very successful in the sport, who gave back to the sport, who trained a lot of people to become members of this sport. And of course, this is, it was, the first award was in 2003 in his honor. And I'm gonna read the first 5 winners. J.D. Perrin, Tyler Finch, John Wengard, Tyler Smith, and Matt Kikali. They're the first winners of the Terry Holton Youth Award. And look at the dominance that they have grown to be so successful in the sport. That's why it's so important that every one of us in this room spend time and effort to get young people involved so that we can continue to grow. I want to particularly give a shout out to Greg and Tom Luther. These gentlemen send horses every year in big numbers to the county fairs. Along with that, they send young drivers to drive those horses at the county fairs to get the experience necessary to lead them on to bigger and better things when they get to the big money at the tracks. Everybody in this room, if you'll continue to look at the young people to get involved, it will help us grow substantially, continually in the future. Tonight's winner is no exception to this. Braden Rhodes, who splits his time between Ashland and Garrettsville, is 19 years old. He owns 2 horses. He trains 2 horses. His father, Bill, trains 20-some horses. And Braden is in his 3rd year as driver-trainer. In his first 2 years, between his training and driving, has won over $1 million. And he's starting out better this year than last. Braden started mucking stalls like most of you did. He works 7 days a week. He lives my favorite 4-letter word, W-O-R-K. And that's what leads to success for all of us. The harder we work, the better we get. Hard work always pays. Harder work always pays more. Braden is he's very successful. He's working hard. He listens. He's learning. And it's my privilege to welcome this fine young man as this year's winner of the Terry Holton Youth Award. Braden, come on up. Where are you? Now you get to say something, too. Did you meet Ryan? I wouldn't do anything about it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Braden Rhodes. Most of you don't know who I am, but hopefully one day you will. I'm very grateful to receive this award. I've been working in the barn since I was able to, and I've always wanted to drive horses and train horses, so to receive this is pretty surreal. I would like to thank all the owners and trainers and everyone who's helped me, especially Nick and Betty Clegg. They've done a lot for me over the last couple years and given me a lot of opportunity. And my dad, Bill Rhodes, he's taught me basically everything I know, and he's helped me like nobody else. He's also taught me how to take a lot of criticism, so that's good too. Thank you to everyone that's helped me over the years, and I look forward to hopefully driving a winner for all of you one day.
At this time, I'd like to welcome my favorite Northfield Park track man, Ty Loy, to the stage. He'll present the Ohio Outstanding Groom Award to the man, the myth, the legend, William Chubb, being accepted by Scott Mogan.
I'll do what Michael Carter told me to do, make it real short and sweet, because I listen to him all the time at Northfield. Willie Chubb, I've known him for over probably 30-some years, and if we all had caretakers like him, it'd make our business so much better. If something's wrong with a horse, Willie'd come, hey, this horse did this. I said, Willie, you know what to do, just go do it. And he's a true friend of mine, too. We kid with each other all the time. But you can't ask for a better person than Willie. So I'll make it, like I said, short and sweet like Mike said. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't have anything prepared. I didn't know Willie wasn't going to be here, but I've known, like Ty, probably 35 years when he first came up with Wildwood, Georgia Farms. And you'll never find a harder worker than Willie. I've never seen him complain. He works, well, he's worked for Ty. He has never worked for me, unfortunately, but he's worked for Jim Arledge as long as I can remember. But I'm in the barn right next to them down at the training center, and he's always got a smile on his face and just a hard worker, and like I said, never complains, and very well deserving of this award.
At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Mike Wobkenberg and Mr. Bill Peters, who will present the 2024 Racing with the Stars Ohio County Fair Trainer of the Year and Driver of the Year.
Come on, Bill. They want us to go quick. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to honor the leading trainer and driver at the county fairs. Hopefully you all realize that the Ohio County Fairs are the largest fair racing program in the world, going for the most purses. It is very hard to win as many races as these two individuals have, and it takes a lot of travel, a lot of perseverance. But I would like to bring Betty Clegg up here as she is our leading trainer. Betty had 75 wins at the fairs. That takes a lot of travel, a lot of horses, and a lot of dedication. Oh, that's right. She's got this other guy following her.
I know.
Any of you know him? That's Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hi, buddy.
It's always good, dear, to see you.
Always good to see you.
Thank you, dear. You want to say something?
Well, I guess we could. I
Well,
mean, you
say
guys,
something.
you do most of the work,
I
so I
would-
don't do nearly as much as you do.
Talk to him.
Okay, fine, if you insist.
I insist.
Okay. I really appreciate everything that OHHA does for the fair circuit. Without them, I couldn't do anything. This wouldn't happen without them. They are the backbone of everything. That and Melinda Cash.
Yes, yes.
She is outstanding. She pushes me forward to get through the whole fair season, and her entire family. And Braden Rhodes steps up every time I need him. He's there. And there's so many people that help me along the way. So I am just grateful for everyone who helps me, including the OHHA.
Thank you, dear. It's always good to see you. That way. Our leading driver,
I just want to say
Nick
something.
wants to say something.
I just want to say the OHHA does not get the recognition that it deserves for the simulcast or to spread out the TV on the races or whatever. What Roger, Matt, and Frank do is unbelievable. I have family that haven't seen horse racing since Quatsy Downs closed in the 80s. So the fact that they get to watch the horses race is just, that they just don't get a credit enough for what they do. The OHHA is wonderful. That's it. Good
Thank you,
talk.
Nick.
Good talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark St. Louis evidently is not able to be here this evening. Mr. Bateson's going to accept the trophy for him. Mark ran all over the state to get 114 wins. That's a lot of wins at the county fairs. We've got a great program, guys. We just all need to support it. Steve?
Mark couldn't be here this evening, and I didn't know Mark at all, other than some old history from Raceway Park days. He drove a little bit for me in 2023. This last year in 2024, he drove my Signature Series horse in most of the events, and he did tell me, he couldn't be here tonight, to thank those that gave him an opportunity. And I'm a big believer in second, maybe third chances, and Mark did a fine job for me, and he's very appreciative for his opportunity. So, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support of the Ohio County Fairs. Please continue to support them as much as you possibly can. They are a great entity. If you haven't been to them, please come. Thank you, folks. Charge in.
And it's just a little less than 5 months until the Paulding County Fair, and Mike and I can start it all over again.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Bill. At this time, I'd like to introduce Rusty Voorhees, who will present the Dick Brandt Sr. Extra Effort Award to Robert Geist.
Thank you for having me. I'm here. I got a call several weeks ago from, whoops. I don't know what happened there. I've got a email from Kim Poma to ask me if I would present Bob Geist his award. I said, sure I would, since I nominated him. So I did that, and also then, 2 or 3 days ago, Susan asked me, do you have anything written up for Bob? I said, I got it covered, Susan. What I didn't tell her is that our girls at the Fair Board in Salina have a press release from Bob. Thank you. I say Mike Wupkenberg probably broke it. I got the remnants. But anyway, Bob won the Schoonover Award for the OCRA. The Schoonover Award, Extra Effort Award for the OCRA, he won that in November. And I just got to thinking, well, you know what? He could, deserving of the Dick Brandt, because he's been around forever and been on every committee there has been, and he's just fair harness racing and Bob Geist just go hand in hand. And I'll make this short since this thing breaking kind of took into my speech time. But anyway, the Fair Board wrote, this year, in addition to the Schoonover Award, Bob has also been honored the Dick Brandt Sr. Extra Effort Award, which highlights significant contributions to county fair racing, offered annually by the Ohio Harness Horsemen Association. This award reflects the association's commitment to enhancing local racing programs. It's presented to individuals or local horsemen's groups who have demonstrated extraordinary involvement and assistance with racing programs during Fair Week, as well as their broader commitment to supporting local fairs and communities. Bob's dual recognition with these two awards underscores his exceptional efforts to promote and sustain harness racing at the county fair level. His dedication, involvement, and passion for the sport continue to leave a lasting impact to the Ohio racing community. And that's what our fair board wrote for Bob. So I'm going to introduce Bob Geist, winner of the 24.
Thanks, Rusty. There's a few people I want to thank for this. First and foremost, my wife, Christy. She puts up with a lot of stuff when I get involved in things. So I got to take pretty good care of her. And the Brandt family for making this award possible. It's been several years that they've done this, and it's certainly appreciated. And the OHHA for letting it happen here at their local banquet. It seems, I'll talk about the thing that pleases me the most of anything that I've accomplished, and that's the forming of the Signature Series. It's been over 25 years since this first got started. And who would have ever thought that just a couple guys sitting on a trunk after the races at Van Wert Fair would come up with something like this, but we did. We started out with 4 fairs the first year, and as of last year, last year we raced at 33 county fairs. So, needless to say, it's been something that's been pretty popular. The 4 fairs that we started with was Mercer, Dark, Auglaize, Van Wert, and Allen counties. And some of the people that I think that needs to be recognized for the inception of this, Harold Breidenboss helped us a lot financially to get this thing going. And after we was in it for a few years, we approached Tom Wright and his folks at Delaware, and they agreed to host the finals for the series. That put us over the top. And the other person that I'd like to recognize from the get-go, from day one up until including this past year, Midland Acres has been one of our sponsors without question. They had never missed a lick. So the only thing that I regret that we wasn't able to do was keep track of how many county fair track records that was set by the Signature Series horses. But believe me, there was many, many of them. So anyhow, I'll cut this off now and say thanks to everybody.
At this time, I'd like to welcome the chairman of the Ohio Standardbred Development Fund Committee, Chairman Dick McClelland, as he'll present the Kaltenbach Awards.
This won't be very long. Is Mr. Burke in the back? Mr. Page, would you come forward? Is Page here? Well, these are to the winning drivers and the winning owners of the most sire stakes. It reads in your program. For you that don't know who Mr. Kaltenbach was, Schmidt you might, Beach you might. He was one of the instrumental guys that started the Ohio Sire Stakes program. But this is kind of getting old hat here. I think maybe next year we can knock them off the throne, but I want to tell them we appreciate everything they do for the Sire Stake program.
We'll make it quick. Thank you very much, everybody. I have the best owners in the world, and the guys, the breeders and everything, and all the farms, especially like Mark Adams, who does a lot for us. So I'd like to thank them, and basically I have to accept for Chris too, and Chris will thank me, and that'll be it. So, okay, thank you.
At this time, we'd like to present the OHHA Special Awards. I'd like to welcome back to the stage Executive Director Frank Fraz.
Thank you, Michael. The OHHA, we decided to give out some special recognition awards during the year. The first one we'd like to present is to Jessica Rogner. Being a part of Jug Week was a lifelong dream for Jessica and their team. They had talked about having a horse that could be in the jug for years, and this was one they thought that they could bring home, make some money, and have some fun. And they were able to pick up a winner in the jugette, and I'd like Jessica to come up here for her award.
Hi, as Michael Carter said, I am not going to go on like Northfield Park's race card. I appreciate the OHHA for recognizing this. It was a big deal. We're a little stable and we had a big year. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our second special recognition award goes to the Breeders' Crown champion, Mickey and Minnie, and the Connections, Robert Mondillo. It was a magical time for Mickey and Minnie, and for Robert Mondillo, a great 2024 season, highlighted by the decisive victory in the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old filly pace in 150-2. Mickey and Minnie won 6 races from 11 starts and banked $834,086. So if Bob Mondillo could come up to the stage, way in the back. So congratulations to the Connections of Mickey and Minnie and Bob Mondillo.
Thank you, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here, and I never in my wildest dreams ever thought I would be able to address this group on behalf of an award that I received. But it's great. Certainly, I've been doing this for a long time. It's about 25 years now. And I think as I look around the room, I would say that maybe half of the people in the room have helped me and help my partners do as well as we were able to do in racing. I came into the standardbred business because I loved the horses. It wasn't to make money or any other esoteric wish. It just, I love the horses. And I've been blessed to work with some of the people I have. My longtime business partner is responsible for bringing me into the business. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But his name is Don Robinson. His family has been in the business for a long time. And Donnie is quite a horseman and certainly has steered me in the right direction. And after working in some of the lower level horses to get started, not that we love them any less, but that's all we were able to do. And then in the state of Ohio, it's really impactful as I look around the room and I see how many people are here and all that has happened in the state of Ohio to develop the sport. Because when I first came into it, we were racing for not a lot of money. If you weren't the number 1 or number 2 horse, you really didn't have much in the way of an economically successful year. But in this year, you know, as long as you're in it, you can have some highs, you have some lows. We've had both. My partners and I this year started out with maybe not a whole lot, a win here and a win there. And then Mickey and Minnie came along, and we realized that she was going to be a pretty good horse. And then I looked at the name, and we had a lot of fun, Mickey and Mickey, but we certainly said, you know, she's no cartoon. She's a pretty serious racehorse. So I'm glad to be her Ohio connection because it has been fun. It wouldn't have, my partners, Mickey and Minnie, are Craig Henderson and Larry Minowitz, and Chris Ryder has done a great job, and it's great to see her succeed to the level that she has. I hope that she'll come back next year as a 3-year-old, but right now we're enjoying this year. And again, I just want to thank everyone, and I would probably have to name half of the room who have helped me and helped my partners to enjoy the success that we've had in harness racing. It's a wonderful sport. Standardbreds are fabulous horses, and I'm glad to see everyone here involved in keeping us at the level we are. And in my lifetime, I've never seen it stronger than it is right now. So keep on going, y'all. Thank you.
Our other Ohio-connected Breeders' Crown champion was Sig Sauer. Joe Sobraco is no stranger to the Breeders' Crown winner's circle, but the feeling never gets old. His 3-year-old colt trouter, Sig Sauer, gave co-owner Sobraco his 4th crown, winning in 150-4. In 2024, the trotter won half of his 10 seasonal races, earning more than $870,000. Joe couldn't be here tonight, but accepting for Joe Sobraco is Amy Holler.
Joe gave me a call and asked me to come up here and accept this. I'm more than honored to. He said he had to judge some contest tonight, a bathing suit contest or something around home. Actually, we have him freeze drying the track at Northfield. That's what we have him doing. But Joe, as always, he's extremely appreciative. He's a very, very proud Ohioan, and he looks for more winners so he can come back here and tell you himself. Thank you.
We have 2 other special recognition awards. One was for Allegiant, for owner Ryan Smith. Winning a Breeders' Crown with Allegiant was a thrill. Sharing the experience with his 3 horse-loving daughters made it even more special. Allegiant won 6 races and 17 seasonal starts, earning $748,000 in 2024. At the Breeders' Crown, I had the opportunity to be standing next to Ryan when the horse won, and as we were walking in the winner's circle, I was trying to get an interview with him, and he looked at me and said, "Not now, I'm going to throw up." And I just, he was just so happy. Our other one is for Ronnie Wren Jr. Although he is a Michigan native, Ohio couldn't be prouder of Ronnie Wren Jr. for his 149-1 victory with Blueprint in the 2-year-old Colt Pace Breeders' Crown. The victory was his first in the lucrative Grand Circuit event. He's the top reinsman at Northfield Park, winning 592 races and earning $7.4 million last year. We are sorry that the 2 of them could not be here tonight. We recognize them for putting Ohio in the national spotlight. So a round of applause for Allegiant and Ronnie Wren Jr.
Thank you, Frank. At this time, I'd like to welcome Keith Gisser from the Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Writers Association as they present the OHHA Awards.
Thank you, Michael. Every year, the United States Harness Writers Association Ohio chapter gives out a number of awards. Our first award is one that you just heard about. The Winner's Circle Award goes to the Ohioan who's had the best achievement on the racetrack over the course of the year, and that winner is Ronnie Wren Jr. Ronnie's been a top driver in Ohio for many, many years, and recently he's spread out to other tracks. He's been driving at the Meadows and so on. 2024 was a banner year for the 39-year-old native of that state up north, as he broke through with several milestones in his career. In late April, he won his 8,000th career victory, and he won, of course, as we just heard, his first Breeders' Crown, piloting Blueprint to victory. He also drove Blueprint to victory in the $400,000 Pennsylvania Sire Stakes. And for me, the remarkable thing about Ronnie's year was his UDRS, his Universal Driver Rating System, his batting average. All right? At Northfield, he posted a 407 UDRS. And at the Meadows, he posted a 384 UDRS. And those are Ted Williams-like numbers. As you heard, he won 529 races and $7.4 million in purses. All I can say is congratulations to the one and only Ronnie Wren.
Ronnie Wren's class, integrity, and talent normally is second to none. He decided to ride on the party bus with us today. He's really got a really critique diet, and he's not usually a drinker, but this is Ronnie today. So he wants to thank you. He just doesn't want to embarrass himself in front of everybody. Thank you.
How do I follow that? The Peter Houghton Memorial Award goes every year to an up-and-coming star in our sport, and this year's winner is 22-year-old Ryan Angus. Now, I'm sorry, Tyler Angus. Tyler is not only a great driver, but he's a champion wrestler with state and regional titles, so he is a multi-sport athlete. Anybody who thinks drivers are not athletes, there you go. Although he grew up in the business, he really didn't plan to get involved until he started going training miles with his dad, Ryan. He's a fourth-generation horseman, and the Macedonia resident this year had 85 wins and $800,000 in earnings. According to his mom, Meg, Tyler first sat in a race bike at age 12 days after his uncle, Rick Beinhauer, won a race with Striking Gator. Good thing he wasn't in the bike with Sierra Cosmos. Not too bad for a driver who picked up his first win in 2020 just at age 18 as he steered Ruffy's Desire to a 157-4 win in a Signature Series event. Please welcome this year's Peter Houghton Memorial Award winner, Tyler Angus.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that supported me along the way and who's ever given me an opportunity on their horse, owners, trainers, partners, whoever. I wanted to give a big shout out to my family because I wouldn't be here today without them. And my buddy Logan, my girlfriend Emma, my sister. I love all you guys. I wouldn't be here. And I actually wanted to give a big shout out to Brian Loney, who got my name out there in the business and made me very successful to this day. Thank you.
The Rambling Willie Award is awarded each year to an Ohioan who has done the most for harness racing over the past 2 decades. Rambling Willie was known as the horse that God loved. Amy Holler is known as the track rep that God loved. Amy is many things. She's a media superstar, a bourbon aficionado, a social media influencer, and according to Andy Cohen, who may have still been hungover from his CNN New Year's Eve appearance, she's been selected to star in the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Cuyahoga Falls. When not doing OHHA stuff, Amy keeps her husband Buck in line. She started as Northfield's OHHA rep in 2001, and as a track rep, she has the unique opportunity to piss off both horsemen and track management. Amy secretly longs for the days of Raceway Park, but don't we all? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's Rambling Willie Award winner, Amy Holler. Amy, get up here.
You've been paid to be a comedian before? Huh, I'll be darned. Here's some of the quotes I've heard since it was announced I'm the recipient of this prestigious award. She's been here so long they had to give her something. Joe McLeod. Award? Your paycheck's your award. My husband, Calvin. And from Jay Wolf this morning, you know what Amy Holler and Ramblin' Willie have in common? They both should have retired long before they actually did. Despite the naysayers, I have many to thank. Oddly, my first thank you is to Ramblin' Willie himself. When Willie was racing, my aunt was married to Bob Farrington's nephew. The horse that God loved built the Church of Christ in West Mansfield, Ohio, my hometown. I have a print of Willie hanging on my wall, my office at home, and this award, I'm very honored to be hanging by it. Next, I thank, I'm not sure where he's at right now. I'm nervous, I'm sorry. I know it's weird for me to be nervous, but I am. John Kineski. My goat of an OHHA director. Where's John? Over there. I was barely 22 years old when he was instrumental in hiring me at Raceway Park. I hadn't graduated college yet, I wasn't married, I had no children, I had the world in front of me, and I yet to hold it against him. John guided me through some very tough early years. We raced for no money, we spent a brutal cold winter. Actually, during this banquet, it's the only banquet I've missed in 33 years, walking a picket line at Raceway Park. We've consulted with one another, we've laughed a lot, we've cried a couple times, and he's always had my back. I love him immensely, not only for those early years, but for his continuing friendship. Thank you to the board of directors. The nature of the beast is for them to be constantly criticized, and it's often a thankless job. This is what you get paid. You get paid a lunch at board meetings, and you get a night during the banquet at the hotel. They sacrifice their time, often personal money, to keep Ohio racing on track. When the board comes together, they do not think about themselves. They're striving to make decisions for the betterment of us all. And I'll firmly defend our board of directors until the day I die. I'd like to thank the OHHA staff, both past and present. What a group of people. I've watched this association grow from being barely solvent to a multi-million-dollar association that has helped horsemen grow their retirement accounts, got them through a pandemic, a global pandemic, and none of it is just possible with money. It takes a lot of people who are dedicated, and that's what our staff is. I could stand up for hours exalting their virtues. They'll probably start to throw things at me, so. I'd like to thank track managements. Oh, I thought I heard a few groans. So did Tom Aldridge, Jason Roth, Michael Carter, Jason Bloom. They're writing your names down right now, everybody that groaned. But from a young woman who one time overheard a race secretary call me the big C word, to Tom Aldridge's beautiful words that he wrote about me in the press release. Doesn't mean I don't have a chapter about you in my book, though, Tom. And, oh, by the way, I don't think it's been mentioned. That's our newly elected Hall of Fame, Harness Hall of Fame National, and I'm going to be very proud to go to Goshen and watch him get inducted this fall. But, as I said, your words meant a lot, Tom, and so does the respect I get from track management, and I hope I give it all right back to you guys. Thank you, horsemen. I've often wanted to get what I call the Lucy sign, you know, where it says advice 5 cents. I need that for my office. It's the most politically incorrect HR department on earth that I run. Psychiatrist, marriage counselor, child care. My own don't count over there, though. I've broken up fights before, many times, you name it. But I've also seen some of the most amazing, greatest acts of kindness out of horsemen and women. The OHHA has nearly 4,000 members, literally thousands of people who nightly compete against each other. Yet when there is a cause for us all to come together, we come together. So many of you have touched my lives. Watching the children of those that I was young with now get into the sport, like Braden and Tyler, it overwhelms me. You've made me smile, you've made me cry, you've made me very proud to represent you. And finally, before they all storm the stage and drag me off, I thank my family. It can't be said enough, I couldn't do it without them. My parents are here tonight. They instilled a hard work ethic in us 3 girls. They instilled a hard play ethic too. They gave me a backbone. My mom was one of the first women in Ohio, one of the few, to train and drive horses. She may be no longer capable of remembering those days, but we all sure do. And we will strive to make sure our younger generation always remembers too. My biggest critic, but I know deep down he's also my biggest supporter, is my husband, Calvin. There's not a couple, he doesn't need applause. There's not a couple in harness racing who does not understand how important it is to be a united front when this business starts to throw everything it can at you. Our 3 kids, Carson, Tony Dale, and Aaron, and their significant others, Joe and Todd, along with my granddaughters, give me motivation I need every day. And of course, my extended family. Sisters and brothers-in-laws, Jenny, Brian, Stacy, Bill, my rottenly hilarious nieces and nephews. You've all got to respect me now. I'm an award winner. I need to hear every now and then, Brian Brown who? Also a shout out to my high school gal pals, and I know they're watching right now, the ladies of the 80s. Back in '86, they would have never dreamed they would also be involved in horse racing, but that's what they get for going to the Little Brown Jug with me all the time. I've got to thinking I've only won 3 awards in my life. One of them was a 4th grade hula hoop contest, SB Elementary, Kenton, Ohio. That basically gave me the skills to give birth to 3 kids later in life. The next one was I was really into drama, and I am the only back-to-back Best Actress winner from Benjamin Logan High School. Thank you very much. What those acting skills got me, they've enabled me to fake a smile, feign a tear, speak loudly, but most of all, it enabled me to fool all of you into giving me this award. And just like I say when I need to make an announcement at Northfield Park, thank you and have a lovely day.
It's going to be tough to follow that up. At this time, I'd like to welcome Scott Hegemeyer to the stage. He'll be presenting the Maynard and Stella Hegemeyer Significant Contribution Award to State Representative Scott Lips.
You guys put me up here after Amy Holler, seriously? As the grandson of Maynard and Stella Hegemeyer, it's truly my honor to stand up here and present this award in their memory and in honor of all of their significant contributions to the state of Ohio for an entire lifetime and multiple generations afterward. I'd like to recognize the Honorable, my friend Scott Lips, as our award winner this year, if you'll please join me. Scott Lips, just as a little background, was a small business owner with his family. He discovered the challenges of being a small business owner and decided he wanted to get involved and help others with similar challenges. He ran for 4 terms as city council and 2 terms as mayor of Franklin. He served most recently the last 8 years serving a large portion of Warren County as one of the most effective state representatives in our county's history. He served as the chairman of the Ohio House Health Committee, and I know Scott is most proud of being able to implement his passion of serving people living with disabilities. Everybody says that you're supposed to get to know your state representative. I think Scott and I took that a little too far because we're actually friends, way beyond any political connections. Scott's been to the Little Brown Jug a couple times. He's been to the Warren County Fair multiple times to watch harness racing. He even survived a trip in the back of the starting gate with Mike Webkenberg. Twice. He's been to Hegemeyer Farms for a couple political functions, and we even got him in the Lebanon horse-drawn carriage parade. When you get into politics, you never really know what that next phone call is going to be. One of the first times I reached out to Scott, was regarding a compost facility within his district and mine. I also serve as a township trustee back home. A compost facility. It's an essential service that needed to happen. And I called Scott and I said, hey, I need you to come take a look at this. Let's get your thoughts on it. Well, Scott's not much of a country guy. So he shows up ready for a committee meeting. I toss him in a dirty old farm truck and we pull into this farm with a pile of horse manure twice the size of this room we're in. That just goes to prove you never know what kind of stuff you're going to get into in politics. Most recently, Scott came to the rescue of the men and women that called Warren County Fairgrounds home for harness racing. Our president, Scott Mogan, touched on it. At the end of October, with no advance notice, the Warren County Agricultural Society had a lapse of judgment. The Warren County Ag Society is the largest training center in the state of Ohio, housing nearly 300 standardbreds. It's the former home of Lebanon Raceway, if that gives you a little reference point. The Warren County Ag Society decided at their late October meeting to discontinue the harness racing program and shut down the training center with barely more than a month's notice for 300 horses to get out. As you can imagine, the men and women that call Warren County home were panicked. Where do we go? There are not training centers within an hour's drive of Warren County to house that many standardbred racehorses. I reached out to Scott. He was the first phone call. And over the course of a few weeks, maybe a month, Scott and I talked a lot more on the phone than I did to my lovely wife, and he did to his significant other as well. But Scott did the unimaginable. He managed to pull together the resources, working with State Senator Steve Wilson, our county commissioners, the OHHA, and even with the support of the Warren County Farm Bureau, Scott and I were able to extend the training opportunities for the foreseeable future. So it's with my pleasure to present the Maynard and Stella Hagemeyer Significant Contribution Award to my good friend, the Honorable Scott Lips.
Well, thank you very much, Scott and Cindy, for hosting Sarah and I tonight. Thank all of you for what you do to make Ohio a better place for our horse and ag communities. I respect your industry. I think the world of your industry. I have known Jim Beakey, Bob Schmitz, John Mossberger for most of my life, certainly 20 years or more. And when you've got gentlemen in your life helping you learn and understand as you go through life, you're going to be a better person for it. It's a huge honor to be here with you tonight. When I found out the award was named after Maynard and Stella, I mean, it kind of brought tears to my eyes. I knew them as a young man growing up, and I've been to their farm many, many times, and it was a wonderful thing. I don't know if any of you know, I've spent about 40 years in the Masonic lodge fraternity, and I was part of giving Maynard a 75-year Masonic pin, and that's a hell of a big award in my world. Great people. Mel Hagemeyer, another individual that has always helped direct me. I don't really know what the hell happened to Scott, but Cindy's trying. She's trying really hard to keep that together. But it's great to know you have people like that who are giving your industry such a positive name and helping educate people, legislators who may not understand your industry. I will tell you that the battle with the Warren County Fairgrounds, the Ag Society, was unexpected. We did not know they were going to give us a 42-day notice to evict 42 or 300 horses. So Scott called, I went. After the first time going to the compost dump, I didn't really want to go. I was a little scared about that. I threw those shoes away, by the way. It was scary. That was scary. We were up to our knees in you know what, right? And I was in a suit and tie, guys. So we did jump on this. I felt like a wrong had been committed to your industry, to great people that make Warren County better. So we got involved. Our commissioners listened to me. Our auditor listened to me of the state of Ohio. Senator Wilson helped me join the battle, and we were able to effectively move that back to May the 31st. We have a committee who is now studying it, and the committee will come back with a final decision that it will be extended permanently. We will have a home in Warren County for the horsemen. I promise you, we've won this battle. So for you to have me here and host us for dinner is nice, because during the month that these calls occurred, maybe 75 calls, Sarah walked in one night and said, "You do realize you've been talking to Scott Hagemeyer more than me, right?" So I started taking the calls in the kitchen. I would see on the cell phone Scotty Hagemeyer, and I would go, "Hey, the dog needs to go out." And I'd go to the kitchen, I'd turn around, and there she was standing in the kitchen. It's like, uh-oh. So it was a battle well worth fighting, because of how proud I am of all of you and the education that I have received and the mentoring I've received from Bob and Jim and Mel and Maynard. So I will end with this, with thanking you from the bottom of my heart, and I will tell you the funniest piece of all. I am 100% deathly allergic to horses. When I put this horse pen on tonight, I sneezed.
At this time, I'd like to welcome back Executive Director Frank Froz to the stage as he presents the Dr. John P. Stevens Humanitarian Award to Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, accepted by Jim Beakey.
The Dr. John Stevens Humanitarian Award is one of the most prestigious awards presented by the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association. It's been 6 years since it was last presented. We have several of the past recipients here with us tonight, and I'd like to ask them to stand. Kevin Greenfield, Dick McClellan, Dr. John Mossbarger, and joining me up here, Representative Jim Beakey. Thank you. Round of applause for these gentlemen. The Dr. John Stevens Humanitarian Award is presented to an individual involved with the standardbred and agricultural industries who exhibits exceptional compassion and dedication service to mankind. This year, in recognition to his commitment to the agriculture and standardbred industry and his dedicated service to the state of Ohio, we present the Stevens Humanitarian Award to Governor Mike DeWine. Governor DeWine began his career as an assistant prosecutor in Greene County and then served one term as a county prosecutor. Governor DeWine has served as a state senator, a U.S. representative, Ohio's lieutenant governor, United States senator, before being elected as the 70th governor of Ohio. Throughout his tenure, he has been a champion of Ohio's agriculture and harness racing industries, understanding their importance in the state's heritage and economy. He has shown unwavering support for county fair racing, showing up at fairs to watch the racing, specifically at the Delaware County Fair and the Little Brown Jug. He has faithfully attended the Grand Circuit race, using the event to showcase the best of the Buckeye State. Governor DeWine has been a friend to our industry, and that is why we honor the governor tonight with the Dr. John Stevens Humanitarian Award. With heartfelt thanks from all the people involved in Ohio's standardbred industry, and with the utmost respect and admiration for all he has done for harness racing and, above all, the Ohio horsemen, we thank him. Unfortunately, the governor was unable to attend tonight, and accepting the award for Governor DeWine, Representative Jim Beakey.
Underneath it all, Mike DeWine's a country boy. He grew up on a farm in Greene County, and he understands agriculture. He understands everything. I'm going to give you one example of why I'm so happy that OHHA is giving him this award tonight. When the COVID was on, I got a call one afternoon, and it was Governor, and he said, Jim, he said, I got a problem. I said, what's the problem, Governor, and what can I do to help you? And he said, well, we've decided to not have the state fair this year. And he said, I'm getting a lot of pressure not to have any county fairs. And he said, I need you to help me. And he said, I've formed a commission to study it and give me some recommendations. And he said, you're going to chair that commission, and you're going to give me the recommendations. So we met, and I came back, and I said, Governor, two things. You cannot shut down county fairs for two reasons. Number one, you've punished the kids in this state too much already by closing the schools. If you take away the 4-H and FFA activities at the county fair, it will do irreparable harm to the children. Number two, you can't shut down harness racing. The last thing in the world that we need is for this industry not to be able to race. It will ruin it, and it will be harmful. It will take years to recover. So please do yourself a favor and do the citizens a favor. Allow the 4-H junior fairs and allow harness racing to be conducted. He said, but it'll be in empty grandstands. I said, I don't care. They're going to race. They got a race, period. He accepted that. We had it. And for that, I am so happy that that award is being presented. And one final postscript. Thanks, Scott, for what you're doing for the business. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
At this time, I'd like to welcome my favorite young man, as we found out earlier this evening, Jay Wolf, from the Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Riders Association.
I am fully aware I am 2 people away from dinner, so I will do my best here. It is my pleasure to induct Laverne Hill as an immortal into the Ohio Harness Racing Hall of Fame. Mrs. Hill was truly the first lady of harness racing. Her and her late husband, Charlie, operated Hilliard Raceway, which later made way to Scioto Downs, which they operated for nearly 50 years. Together they operated Hill Farms, one of Ohio's greatest nurseries, and they stood Falcon Almahurst. Mrs. Hill was the president of the Mid-American Racing Association. She was the director of Harness Tracks of America. She was the director of the Little Brown Jug Society and the United States Trotting Association. She was honored with the Sulky Sweeties Good Person Award, the OHHA Good Gal Award, the OHHA's Social Service Award, and both her and Charlie were honored by the Harness Tracks of America's Messenger Award, one of their most prestigious awards, the only husband-wife team to win that award. Despite all those accolades, she may be best known for her famous tailgates at the Little Brown Jug and her fried chicken. If you ever got the opportunity, you always grab the chicken. Please turn your attention to the monitors, where we'll have a brief biography on Mrs. Hill.
It's quite fitting that the First Lady of Harness Racing, Laverne Hill, is the first female inductee into Ohio's Immortal Harness Racing Hall of Fame. As vice president and owner of Scioto Downs, Laverne and her late husband Charlie founded and operated Ohio's showplace of racing for almost 50 years. Together, the couple owned Hill Farms, one of the state's finest breeding facilities, standing the great Falcon Almahurst. Serving on the board of directors across multiple industry organizations, Laverne's knowledge was invaluable. Her resume proved her dedication to harness racing. Laverne's love of the sport can still be seen today, represented by the Jugette Barn, which she donated as a memorial to her late husband. The Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Riders Association is proud to induct Laverne Hill into the Immortal Hall of Fame. Both her and Charlie's dedication to our sport has impacted horsemen and fans for generations and will continue to do so for decades to come.
We had a pair of guests for Laverne Hill that were scheduled to be here. They did not check in, so if they are here, we'd love to have them. If not, we'll be sure that they do get this award. We now turn our attention to Donald Skip Hoovler, the 51st member of the Ohio Harness Racing Hall of Fame. Mr. Hoovler graduated from Ohio University in 1965, where he was an All-American linebacker and played professional football for the New York Jets and the Houston Oilers. Yes, Houston were the Oilers at one time. He became involved in harness racing in 1968 and races mostly homebreds on the Ohio Sire Stakes program. Among his top horses were Meadowland Sam, Meadowland Big Sam, Meadowland Miracle, and North Meadow Mission. But Mr. Hoovler's greatest accomplishments didn't come at the racetrack or in the breeding sheds. He has given selflessly of his time for the betterment of the sport here in the Buckeye State. He serves as the District 1 Director for the United States Trotting Association. He's the former president and board member here at the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association. He was the director of their Political Action Committee for Equine Racing. He is a member of the Little Brown Jug Society. He is a financial advisor and owns Hoovler Financial Insurance Services in Pataskala, where he resides with his wife, Tammy, an avid horsewoman herself. Tammy and Skip have 3 children, 8 grandchildren. Unfortunately, Skip could not be with us tonight in person, but we do have a message that please turn to attention to the monitors.
Congratulations, Skip, on your induction into the 2025 Ohio Harness Racing Hall of Fame. I can't think of anyone else that's more deserving of this great honor. It's been my pleasure to be a part of your journey. Well deserved, Skip. We love you.
Thank you for this tremendous honor. Thank you to the American Harness Riders Association. I'd like to thank my wife of 59 years, Tammy. She's always by my side, steadfast and loyal. I would like to thank her for the opportunity of introducing me to her father, Ted, who was my best friend at the time. And he introduced me to harness racing, the wonderful world of harness racing.
With us tonight are many family members, and I believe Amy is going to come up and speak on behalf of the family. Please, all the family should come up.
While they're coming up, I was told I had as many minutes as Amy had, so buckle up. Actually, as you can see, it's a family affair. Hanging in my office is a photo of this group from 1949 when my grandfather and his brothers had a mare named Herkimer who won the Governor's Cup, and they were all presented an award at this banquet. So this goes back, going on 5 generations in my family. My grandfather always quoted Winston Churchill, who said, and I'm sure many of you have heard this, "The outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man." And I think that rings very true within my family. Having said that, my dad asked me to read a little bit more of his speech that we had to pare down. So Dad, I know you're watching. This is a participatory speech. So on a count of 3, I'd like for everybody to say, "Hi, Skip." So 1, 2, 3. Hi, Skip. Thank you. So if he were here, he would have read this to you. First, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Harness Riders Association for this tremendous honor. Being recognized by such a distinguished group is truly humbling, and I am deeply appreciative. I would also like to take a moment to thank my incredible wife of almost 60 years, Tammy. She has been the best partner I could have asked for, steadfast, supportive, and always by my side. It was her father, Ted, who first introduced me to the world of harness racing, and for that I am forever grateful. To my wonderful children, Jennifer, Amy, and Brett, and their equally amazing spouses, John, Steve, and Melissa, thank you for your unwavering support. You've not only embraced this passion of ours, but have also joined us on countless trips across the state for races. Your enthusiasm and encouragement mean the world to me. A special thank you must also go to our longtime trainer, Mike Metters, for taking wonderful care of our stables. I do not believe I should take credit for the success of the Ohio harness racing industry. All that we have achieved wouldn't have been possible without the hard work and dedication of so many OHHA presidents, past presidents and current, who served before me and those who continue to champion this sport today. I'd like to recognize a few who have left an indelible mark on myself and our community, many of which are not with us. But if you're here this evening, if you could please stand and be recognized, we'd appreciate it. Dick Brandt, Bob Sidley, Andrew Corrado, Dick Buxton, Bob O'Donnell, Daryl Sherman, and Jack Stevens. Their contributions have paved the way for many of us. Equally, I want to acknowledge those who continue to elevate our sport. John Mossbarger, John Koneski, if you all could please stand as well, Steve McCoy, Kevin Greenfield, and Steve Bateson. I am confident the future of harness racing in Ohio is in great hands and under the leadership of our current president, Scott Mogan, whose vision and dedication inspire us all. Thank you, all of you. I would also like to commend the exceptional executive leadership within the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association, past and present. Their tireless efforts have strengthened our industry and ensured a bright future for harness racing in our state. Thank you again for this extraordinary honor and for the opportunity to celebrate this incredible journey with all of you. And thank you from all of us.
So a reminder, if you haven't done so yet, you can see any of the OHHA staff members to donate to PACER, the Political Action Committee for Equine Racing, to ensure government advocacy for standardbred horse racing in Ohio. At this time, I'd like to welcome one of my favorite Hall of Famers. Jay Wolf and I earlier joked that he's the Reverend tonight. Roger Houston for the invocation.
Let us pray. We gather here tonight, a night of celebration. We remember those who are more like us than different, our common love for this sport. We're here to rejoice together in our own victories and those of our fellow horsemen and women. The losses are lighter and the joys are magnified as we work together to ease the long days and nights of the work that we do. We remember those with us who were at our side as we labored toward the milestones we celebrate tonight. And so, let us ask that we take away from this evening the strength of our collective joys to make easier the path of those we meet at the track, and to recognize the horses who give us our living and fulfill our dreams, and to honor the trust we have taught them to give us. Amen.
This time, dinner will be served. We'll return here shortly for the remainder of our awards. second half of our program. But before we do that, as Frank alluded to earlier this evening, there is a Hall of Fame portion of the OHHA website coming in conjunction with the United States Harness Riders Association Ohio chapter. It's currently in beta testing. If you take a look at the monitors here to my left and right, this is what you will see on the OHHA Hall of Fame part of the website. As you can see, there is Skip Hoovler's page. You'll be able to click in, see video, photos, and much more. This is coming to you here soon in conjunction with the United States Harness Riders Ohio chapter. This time we're going to do the 50-50, which is worth $1,340. Are there any children in the house? Any kids in the room? I need one. Somebody, yep, right back there, young man. Come on. Come on up. Wesley Schroeder. Come on in. Wesley, go ahead and pick a ticket out. Again, $1,340 in the 50-50. Thanks so much for your support here this evening. All right, get your tickets out. It is ticket number 218650. 218650. Nobody's jumping. 218650. 218650. Here and over here, we have a winner. $1,340. Congratulations. Thank you, Wesley. Appreciate it, bud. Congratulations, Corrine Lane, on winning the 50-50 this evening. A couple of reminders before we go on with our second half of our program. Centerpieces go to the person who wants it the most. So, ask those at your table. Feel free to take them. They are completely free, I promise. Once again, as a reminder, when you come up to accept your award, you'll enter on my right, exit to my left, go to the photo stand, and then go out for a short interview. At this time, we'd like to welcome Keith Gisser from the Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Riders Association to induct KF Pro Sam into the Standardbred Hall of Fame. Accepting will be trainer Scott Mogan.
Thank you, Michael. You just saw a beta version of the website, which is going to be absolutely great, and I'm honored to be able to present KF Pro Sam, who will be on that website very, very shortly. KF Pro Sam passed away in November of 2023 at the age of 24, and he was so popular that after retiring, he actually had his own Facebook page. He was an absolute warhorse, winning 26 of 60 lifetime starts and finishing on the board in 40 of 60 starts, 2/3 of the time. His lifetime bankroll, $635,000, an average of over $10,500 per start. He won the Ohio Sire Stakes title at 2, 3, and 4. He was a classically Ohio-bred horse. He was a Nobleland Sam from a Falcon-Almenhurst mare named Pro Choice. He was bred by Henry Kaufman of Baltimore, Ohio, who also co-owned him with trainer Scott Mogan. At 2, he won the Ohio Triple Crown, not just the Sire Stakes Championship, but the State Fair and the Breeders' Championship. At 3, he picked up a check in the Little Brown Jug final en route to divisional honors. And at 4, after being sold to Pete Heffering, he took his lifetime mark of 150 flat at the Meadowlands, back when a 150 mile really meant something. But when it came time to come back to Ohio, Heffering called once again on Mogan to prep him. And at 4, Sam won the Ohio Sire Stakes Veteran Pace and was named Age Pacer of the Year that year. I believe we have a video of KF Pro Sam for you to check out.
Well, being the two-year-old, 3-year-old, and 4-year-old pacer of the year in Ohio, he was the only third horse to ever accomplish that feat. And I'm proud to see him go into the Hall of Fame with the other 2 horses, which was Joe Adamski's Majestic Osborne, and Tom Brinkerhoff's Golly 2.
KF Pro Sam, Rios Rebel on the outside, Rios Rebel can't get to KF Pro Sam, 151.
I mean, the horse loved to race, loved to win. Winning 27 out of 60 lifetime starts, all against either stake competition or open competition.
And here we go. It's KF Pro Sam. Gallo Blue Chip is coming at the inside. KF Pro Sam is hanging as tough as can be. Gallo Blue Chip, he is humbled. KF Pro Sam has taken the Freehold Cup. Gallo Blue Chip second, Keystone Romeo third, in an eye-opening 151 flat.
He's probably one of the easiest horse I ever trained. He trained down grade, didn't wear a boot, just took care of himself in the barn. I told Amy Holler when I got the call that he was going to the Hall of Fame, if it hadn't been for the injury, I think he would have been the foiled again of Ohio.
Here to induct KF Pro Sam into the Hall of Fame, please welcome trainer and co-owner Scott Mogan.
Thank you very much. I mean, he was a once-in-a-lifetime horse for me. I've had some nice horses go through my barn, but this horse, first of all, I want to thank the OHHA chapter of OHHA before I forget, and I also need to thank Winnie Nemeth. Not only did she nominate this horse and get him on the list a few years ago, but she found him his forever home. I appreciate that. New locations. Carolyn Deere, who had him for those last 10 years before he passed. But he's just, like I said, and I know that's a bold statement to make, comparing him to Ronnie's horse, but he just loved to win. I mean, like I said, every one of his races was none of them was ever an overnight race. It was stakes competitions. From first win was the State State Fair. After that was all stake races or open class races, and I just think he would have been a super horse for a long time if he hadn't had a career-ending injury at the end of his 4-year-old year. It happened to Delaware when he won the Breeders' Championship there as a 4-year-old. But there's one other person I really got to thank, and a guy named Chip Noble. And Chip drove him his first start out of the 8-hole at Northfield. And he pulled up, finished 5th, charging through the stretch. Thought he raced good. And anybody who knew Chip Noble, he was a man of few words. And he looked at me and he said, "Do you own part of this horse?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You better take care of him because he's going to make you a lot of money." First time he said buy no horse. And he went on to win the Triple Crown that year, 3-year-old Pacer of the Year, 4-year-old Pacer of the Year. And if anybody else would have said that to me, I'd like, come on, it'd be crazy. But when Chip Noble said it, and so I'm proud he's going to be in the Hall of Fame along with Chip. Thank OHHA again. I've been up here several times, luckily a few times I should say, for year-end awards, but this means more than anything to me. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Sanina Este, John Koneski, and Jacob Mossbarger to the stage as we present the divisional awards.
Hi, everybody. Good to see everyone for tonight. It's always an exciting evening. We would like to start tonight with the 2-year-old Colt Pacer of the Year, Sippin' on Sea Rock. He's down by the seaside out of Queen Anne M, who's by Big Bad John. Earnings of $568,000 with a mark of 48-2 on a mile track. Trained by Ron Burke. Drivers were Yannick Gingras, Chris Page, Ronnie Wren Jr., and Scott Zeron. Owners, Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Buscemi, RAS Racing, Knox Services, bred by Trent Stoller and Alicia Brinkley. The caretaker was Michelle Hill. The notable wins were 2 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes and the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship. I would like to welcome forward all the connections and congratulations as the video plays.
In my cup, I got some rock.
28-2 backside, sipping on C-Rock with the lead, continuing to circle up from far back. House of Bricks has the momentum out of the pocket. Fabio.
Lonnie and his team for doing a great job with this colt. Really looking forward to this coming year with him, and just thank you again.
Okay, this year's 2-year-old colt trotter of the year is named LT Loverboy by Long Tom, out of the man for the love of Flindy. Did that right? Didn't I? Yeah. Out of Cantab Hall. In 10 starts this year, this horse had 6 wins, 3 seconds, 1/3, mark of 156-1, and earnings of $304,855. Notable wins: 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes, plus the Ohio Scarlet Championship. This horse is trained by Darren Harvey, driven by Darren Harvey, Brett Miller, Aaron Merriman, and Kurt Sugg. Owners were Wayne Mass Jr. and Callum Racing. Bred by Midland Acres. This caretaker was Jamie Jenkins. Congratulations.
LT Loverboy just powered to the front. Tommy Count back to second, now third. Battle Hill takes
Good evening and thank you. It's absolutely a privilege and an honor to accept this award on behalf of everybody involved with Loverboy. First, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the OHHA for the great job they've done this summer with our sport, and personally to Frank and Susan for always being so accommodating. Of course, I want to thank God for making all of this possible. Thank you to Loverboy himself. You know, he gave us a summer filled with great memories that, quite frankly, are going to last a lot of us a lifetime. Special shout out to my partner, Wayne Mass Jr., his passion for this colt and absolutely every single colt or every horse we've ever had is truly inspiring. And I could never accept an award without mentioning Wes Hirschberger. Wes has been a major influence in both of our lives. I've had a 20-year relationship with him. And either directly or indirectly, he's been involved with every single horse I've owned or we've owned. He's a great horseman and even a greater gentleman. And then Darren Harvey, we have special thanks to Darren Harvey and of course his wife Jamie. We're super happy for them. It was obviously a real special year, kind of a breakout year for them. Darren got his first Sire Stakes victory, followed up with his second, third, and fourth, and then he capped it off with the final. So pretty much a dream season, and couldn't happen to a better guy. He's well deserved. And then we have to mention Loverboy's favorite person in the world, and that's Jamie Jenkins, his caretaker. You know, she's got a great relationship with him. She's taken care of him since day one. You know, and I know if you talk to her for 5 minutes, you can just feel the passion she has for horses, and she's so proud of Loverboy. We just want to let her know how proud we are of her. Thanks, obviously, to the drivers. Love having Brett Miller on the bike. Gave the horse a great steer every single race, and he took care of the horse. Heartfelt thank you to all of our family members and friends who joined us this year. Special thanks to my daughter Juliet, who flew up from Florida tonight just for this occasion. Their love and support means a lot to us. On behalf of Loverboy and our entire team, thank you very much and have a great evening.
The 2-year-old filly pacer of the year is odds-on Hialeah. She's by Lather Up, out of Laugh and Be Happy by Badlands Hanover, with earnings of $324,750, a mark of 51 4.5. 8 starts, 7 wins, and 1 second. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., drivers were Dexter Dunn, Brett Miller, and Dan Noble. Owned by Let It Ride Stables and Odds On Racing, the breeder was Odds On Nawa. Caretaker, Susan Wentworth. Such notable wins were 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship, and the Standardbred. Congratulations to all the connections.
Past 3 quarters and down the Jersey Shore puts the nose ahead and neck in front of See Her Rule. Odds on Hialeah, 3 wide off cover, 124 3 for 3 quarters. As they come to the top of the stretch, it's Odds on Hialeah circling to the lead. She is kicked clear and opens up into the stretch. It's Odds on Hialeah with the lead as they drive for the wire. She is powering away. Odds on Hialeah to win it. A photo for place between Witching Blue Chip and Rose Run Ashley. Fourth was Goodnight Dance, 152 2.
Backside, the Virgil Morgan trainees continue to throw down into the final turn. Odds on Hialeah and odds on Chesapeake. Skywalker C at a big number, flips 3 wide. Queen of Fear needs a place to race. They turn 4 home. Odds on Hialeah trying to last on the lead. Odds on Chesapeake, Queen of Fear, and over the top, Skywalker C driving finish. Odds on Hialeah's holding on. Odds on Hialeah.
Thank thank you very much. First of all, congratulations to everybody here tonight. But thank you very much for voting for her. She's a special filly. We liked her from day one. I really want to thank my son Trey. He's developed into my right-hand man. He's really helped me a lot, and I can't say enough about his efforts. Again, thanks for the filly. Dana and Eric couldn't make it tonight, and they just want to say thanks to everybody. Thank you.
A lot of steps are on now. Our next award winner is the 2-year-old filly trotter, Mocha Hill. Sired by What the Hill, Dam Soka Hanover of Cantab Hall. This year, 9 starts, 6 wins, 2 seconds, a mark of 155-1, and earnings of almost $260,000. She's trained by Ron Burke, driven by Chris Page and Ronnie Wren, owned by Burke Racing Stable, Hatfield Stables, Weaver Buscemi, and Knox Services. She was bred by Franklin Equine, the caretaker, Marcy Horties, and I hope I got that right. Some of the notable wins this year: 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes and the Ohio State Fair. This year's 2-year-old filly, Mocha Hill.
That did no favor to Mocha Hill, who's forced 3 wide. Stars in My Crown at the cones. 3/4, 129-4. They leave the backstretch and move on to the far turn. They got to go get Freedom Hill.
Thank you to the OHHA. We really were proud of this filly this year. And we're looking forward to this coming year with her. She's still out in the field running around, so sooner or later we'll get her in and get started back. Thank you.
The 3-year-old colt pacer of the year is Clever Cody. He's by the Ponderosa out of Cannes Van Gogh, who's by Real Artist. Earnings of $346,510 with a mark of 150-1 on a 5/8. 18 starts, 5 wins, and 3 seconds. Trained by Dr. Ian Moore. Driver was Aaron Merriman. The owners were the Clever Cody Stable, bred by Marvin Raber, and the caretaker was Joe Tolino. Such notable wins: 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes and the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship. Congratulations to all the connections, and you can please come forward.
I'll be quick here. I just want to thank some people that have helped me out with me and Cody, people at Northfield, Amy, the stable, and Daryl Rideout for warming him up and helped me after the races because he's not easy to deal with. Also, Scioto, Virgil, and Todd for helping me get him to the track and letting us stay at the farm. And also Luke for keeping him safe away from all the other horses because he's crazy. And I also want to thank Aaron for driving him. Real good this year, except a couple times. And he's not the easiest horse to deal with. It's been a great 2 years. Last year, this year, great season, and we're excited to be back for a 4-year-old season in Ohio. Thank you.
Bonsoir, mon nom est François Lecomte. Je viens de Montréal. Don't worry, that's the only part I will tell in French. All right? So, good evening, everybody. My name is François Lecomte. I'm coming from Montreal. How come a guy from Montreal is here tonight? Well, first, my preferred horse name was the Ponderosa. And thanks to the breeders, for the last 10 years, he had a good mare. So down in Saint-Hyacinthe, Quebec, about 30 miles from Montreal, I didn't come to the sales because, you know, as how we are horse owner, sorry, sometimes my English is not that great. When we go to a sale, if I go, I need to buy. So I decide not to go, but I buy it anyhow. I couldn't sleep that night. That number 14 on the Ohio Select, you know, when you buy a horse, you buy a dream. And Clever Cody was my dream. Thanks, my trainer and vet, Ian Moore, like it as much as I did. So that's the reason he's owned by Clever Cody Stable, which is 5 people. Of course, myself, Ian Moore, the trainer, Ron McClellan, a guy from Canada East. We have Gord McComb and Michael Goldberg, both from Toronto. And as I was listening to everybody tonight, and sorry if I talk a little bit longer than all the previous guy, I think I deserve it. I left at 2 in the morning from Montreal, so I think I deserve my 10 minutes, all right? The main reason is to show you respect, people from Ohio. I mean, in Montreal 20 years ago, I mean, we were flying high, having blue bonnets, and we were very happy about our game. Sadly, our game is completely dead. So, of course, with a horse like the Ponderosa, it revived my love for harness racing, and you all know you better be lucky than good, all right? Because buying a 24,000 horse, a De Ponderosa from a very old stallion, geez, you need to be lucky. Oh boy, you are. So tonight, instead of saying thank you to everyone, I will lift my hat. So first, I lift my hat to Peter Pan Stable. As I was going to the sales with my dad in the 80s, he said, Francois, you better watch for this guy because he's buying all the good breeding filly, and he was buying a little bit nuts, but I mean, did he buy? So the Ponderosa was my favorite. So lift my hat to Peter Pan Stable. Of course, lift my hat to Mr. Raber. He did, as I said earlier, give her a good mare. I was looking to every sale for the past 10 years. I mean, poor the Ponderosa, they have no mare. So that's very important. Right now, I think he's doing well. You saw him as a 2 years old. He was a teenager. At 3, he still was a teenager. I think if he becomes a man, you'll see great things from Clever Cody. Another lift my hat, of course, to the Moore team, all right? You know that all the groom that take care. We need to do that. I know it's a bit tiring for you listening, but we have to do it. Thanks to the Moore team, which is Joe and Sheila, Bob, of course, Joe, who talked earlier, Giselle, Nancy, and Ted. Thanks to Aaron Merriman, and I lift my hat too to all the finalists that participate on the final as a 3-year-old pacer. Rose Run Zane. I think I should say with him, I have sympathy for the owners. He flew down from Colorado to see the final. He had a good horse. He had a chance. He broke in the first turn. Wow. I mean, it's tough. And I understand how he felt at the time because it happened to us on the North America Cup. I bring all my family, first time a horse in the North America Cup. Can you believe that? Clever Cody in the North America Cup. Aaron Merriman didn't make it. He broke at the start. Oh boy, was it a long week for me. I'm a very bad loser. Learning how to win, you all know it's very easy. Learning how to lose, oh boy, it's something else. So, lift my hat to Paris Dragon, $100 Man, Outer Banks, Rock the Hill, Racing Rebel, and Janelle Granny. Another great story, a very good story. I don't just want to repeat what Joe just talked about, and you will understand why I bring my hat, all right? Just to make sure that I didn't say thank you 1,000 times. But the main reason, too, that I lift my hat is that I want to lift my hat to the Ohio Buckeye College team, and I wish them the best on Monday. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. You know, when you sell a yearling, when you got a nice yearling to sell, there's a few things that you need after you sell the horse, and you need a good owner, a good trainer, a good caretaker, and a good driver. And I think Clever Cody got all of them, and I was blessed because of that. So, and thank you. There's another thing. There's so many opportunities here in Ohio to race that I think, like was mentioned before, this is the greatest program in the nation right now. Thanks.
I can only follow that up with go Bucks. Our next category is a 3-year-old colt trotter. This year's winner is Tennessee Tom, sired by Long Tom out of the dam Missive by Massive Muscle. Seasonal earnings of $294,000, mark of 153. In 11 seasonal starts, this horse had 6 wins, 2 seconds, 1/3. Notable wins, 3 legs to the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Ohio State Fair, and the Hackett. Trained by Ron Burke, driven by Chris Page, owned by Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Brusimi, Hatfield Stables, and Knox Services. Bred by Albert J. Miller, and the caretaker was Adam Horties. This year's 3-year-old colt trotter, Tennessee Tom.
Thank you again for all the votes. And this horse was had a great year until the end. We're hopeful he'll be back this year, and we'll see how everything goes. So we'll see what he can do as a 4-year-old. Thank you.
Four years ago, when I started taking care of Dad's broodmares at home, I had a dream of having a horse of this caliber, and I'm just living the dream right now, so thank you for everybody to make that possible.
And the 3-year-old filly pacer of the year is Seaside Diva. She's by Down by the Seaside, out of Real Diva, who's by Real Desire. Her earnings were $572,790 with a mark of 150-4 on a 5/8. With 20 starts, 13 wins, 2 seconds, and 2/3. Trained by Ron Burke. Drivers were Chris Page, Hunter Myers, and Ronnie Wren Jr. Owned by Burke Racing, Weaver Buscemi, Knox Services, and Let It Ride Stables. Bred by Burke Racing, Weaver Buscemi, Knox Services, and Let It Ride Stables. Caretaker was Adam Hordes, and notable wins were undefeated in 5 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship, Ohio State Fair, the Naughty Lobel, and the Hackett. Congratulations.
123-1, a 28-1 backside. It's Rose Run Zoe with the lead. Here comes Seaside Diva up on the outside, and she'll take over. Seaside Diva to the lead, starts to open up, pass line, digging in, passing lane is Flying Bullets and Lions Legend to the wire. Seaside Diva, pass line, closing late. Seaside Diva wins it from pass line.
Way home, Seaside Diva with the advantage. No Fool in April, still a length and a half behind. Daisy Star slightly gaps the pocket, off cover, Wasted on You, 3 wide. Katie's Up is bottled up. There's an 1/8 of a mile left to go, and Seaside Diva turns in with a lead by a length and a half. No Fool in April, Wasted on You, Katie's Up. They're all trying to get to Seaside Diva, who's still there. No Fool in April is game and defeat behind Seaside Diva.
This is a little more special than the other ones just because we bred her. You know, we want to thank Mark Adams at Winterwood Farm for doing a great job raising her. And thank you again, and looking forward to her as a 4-year-old.
Our next category is for the 3-year-old filly trotter. This year's winner is Sugar Instead. Sired by Volstead out of the dam Sugar Pop by Winsong's Legacy. In this seasonal starts, she had 17 starts, 15 of them were wins. She had a mark of 152-4, earnings of almost $542,000. This filly's notable wins: 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship, the State Fair, the Breeders' Championship. While being undefeated in the state of Ohio, she is this year's only Triple Crown winner. Great year last year, even better year this year. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., driven by Brett Miller, owned by Joyce McClellan and Larry Wills. Breeder was Elmer Dean Miller. Caretaker, Brian Barr, this year's winner of a Triple Crown, Sugar Instead.
You know, we've heard a lot about horses. People who've seen Sugar Instead is kind of unbelievable. I was telling the other day, most of you know we've had a really good year with a couple trotters. But I can remember we were in the business at Scioto Downs watching horses for 7 years and never got one to a county fair. And I told my wife, I don't know if we'll ever make it, but when you have one like Sugar Instead, it makes you forget all those losses. So really appreciate the people who looked at Sugar Instead.
I just want to give a special thanks to the groom, Brian Barr. He did an excellent job with her. Couldn't have done a better job with her, and I want to give a big thanks to him.
And for the final 2 awards of the night, we have the aged horses. Starting out, we're going to do the Age Pacer Award. There's a rare occasion tonight. There's a co-Aged Pacer Award being given out to Charlie May and Duncan. If the connections want to start making their way forward, please. Charlie May, sires McCardle. The dam is Stipple Hanover, a Western Hanover mare. He had seasonal earnings of $224,230 and a mark of 149 and 2. 21 starts, 3 wins, 5 seconds, and 5/3 for the Carter stable. Brett Miller, Dan Noble, Eric Goodell drove, and of course, Don Tiger solo owned. The groom on the Charlie May was Ben Lindsay.
28-1 backside. Charlie Mason, 3 high by Noble inside. Don't touch my truck. Then it is Gold Digger King and Mackey's back in town. Top of the stretch. Seafire with the lead. 3 wide and rolling comes Charlie May. Act Fast trying to kick in gear to the inside. Drive for the wire. Seafire. Charlie May coming to him. And Charlie May getting up. Charlie May.
Three-quarters here in 124 and 2. They're on the final turn. It's Charlie May, and he's got the lead. Forever Boy stalking the pace hitter with a clear shot right there in second. Virtual Horizon on the outside third. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. Charlie May set down for the stretch drive. Shaking loose on the outside. Here comes Forever Boy coming on and coming at him. Responding on the inside. Charlie May. It will be Charlie May coast to coast.
Everybody today. He couldn't make it tonight. I would like to thank Don Tiger for the opportunity to train Charlie May. Like Scott said earlier tonight, easiest horse in the world to train. Throw the harness on his back and he goes out to go to work. Thank you all.
Like I said, sharing the award tonight is the horse Duncan, out of the sire Pet Rock. The dam was Skinny Dip, Western Ideal mare. Seasonal earnings of $419,228 and a mark of 49 and 1. 35 starts, 9 wins, 4 seconds, and 7/3. Would the connections please come forward? We got the trainer Betty Clegg, Scott Domenico, the driver Nick Clegg, owner Betty Clegg, the breeder Stonegate Standardbred Farms, caretakers Betty Clegg, the entire Cash family, Tim Johnson, and Mike Farnham, and Katia Clegg. Notable wins are the Dam Patch. Could get a round of applause for the connections.
3/4, 124 flat. Duncan won the catch here. Helmsworth and on the outside putting on the pressure. They are noses apart for the lead. Up on the outside, Street Shadow needing some room is Hullabaloo. It's Duncan in the stretch leading the way. Helmsworth and on the outside. They're going to fight it all the way down to the wire. Duncan along the inside looking strong. Duncan in front. Under the wire, Duncan guts it out.
Amps in a trunk and I got more rhymes than this cops at a Dunkin' Donut shop. Sure enough, I got props from the kids on the hill with my mom and my pops. I came to get down. I came to get down.
Buzzsaw Russ has taken the lead. It's Buzzsaw Russ opening it up to 3 lengths now. Charlie May to the outside. El Rey to the inside. Then Christchurch. Far outside, Coach Stefanos is trying to close in. Buzzsaw Russ still 2 lengths in front. In deep stretch, Coach Stefanos is coming very late, as is Duncan. Duncan from between horses. Duncan and Kyle Wilfong wins the Dan Patrick.
Jump around. Jump around. Jump up and get down.
Hello, everyone. For starters, I just want to let you know I usually can't stand Canadians, but I loved the French dude. Love him. I'm Nick Clegg, so of course I have to give some bullshit speech. It's just who I am. I'm sorry. I'm going to start out by saying my greatest compliments, you know what I mean, on the planet have been my 3 children that have never had a cavity. Second would be accidentally meeting the greatest human being on the planet, Betty. Third would be that the fact that the stars aligned for Jordan, my buddy from Canada, one of the 3 Canadians I can stand, happened to be at the sale, and the stars aligned, and he happened to be able to bid on Duncan for us. Otherwise, none of this would happen. So for Jordan and his woman, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. My biggest regret on this planet is missing Betty's senior prom, and I will regret that every single day of my life. But just so you know, Betty missed Duncan's first race, so we're going to call that a wash, okay? To make it perfectly clear, Betty absolutely loved this thing from day one. Me, not so much. Men are so much different than women. Men are focused on the task ahead. When we do something, we grab the bull by the horns until the task is conquered. Women, on the other hand, they are way more talented than us. They can multitask. So I thought nothing of it when every single time Betty would go to feed, she would accidentally leave the wheelbarrow half full of grain in front of Duncan's stall for like 15 or 20 minutes as he just slam dunked half of a wheelbarrow. He paid us back. Don't worry. I don't get emotional about horses, but Duncan from day one was just like when we went to the fair final, Betty said, "Should I go back to the barn?" And I thought, you might want to stay up here. And when I turned after winning, I seen the smile on her face, and like, you can't buy that. It doesn't matter any amount of money. Just because we got Duncan at the secondhand store means nothing to the fact of what he's done for our family. But hold on, I got all kinds of stupid shit to say. Hold on. I got off sidetrack there a little bit. So there's no way to explain to Duncan what he's done for our family or this award he's getting or anything like that. So, I mean, I have it written down, but I'll just say it. Like, if you see Duncan in our barn at Northfield or out at Scotty's barn in New Jersey or in a big race in the paddock, go up to him and hug him, and, he loves that shit. He really does. Anyway, Duncan to be up here honored on the same stage as Charlie May is pretty cool because, I rooted for Charlie May for the last few years, and, it's just cool to be in the same, those two would be the same. But anyway, I had something cool to say that was cute. Hold on. Duncan is a lot like Tom Brady. In the beginning, he looked slow, awkward, and ugly, but now look at this sexy bitch up here, Go Donkey. That's it. I went first because I know she's going to be, I didn't know I was going to be the one up here crying. Go ahead, baby.
I'm not nearly as long as he is. Mine is way shorter, sorry. I'm sure as everybody knows, Nick loves buying horses. And when he gets an idea in his head, there's no stopping his train of thought. I'm sure you guys have all heard the story, what she's just said. Kind of ruined mine. But his friend Jordan had gone to the sale, and if it wasn't for Jordan, I never would have had Duncan. I sat in the kitchen, I cried when Nick told me, hey, we just spent $7,000 on another horse. I said, Nick, we don't have $7,000. Thank you, Kimber. Helped with that $7,000. And to be here today, this is overwhelming for me. Everybody here, I cannot thank you enough for everybody who has cheered Duncan on. But everybody loves a winner, and Duncan has always been a winner. But I've loved him before he was a winner, when he was the scrawny little cross-tie breaking, couldn't get out of his own way. Nick yelled at him, so I comforted him and told him, don't worry, get even with him one day, Duncan. So, but I appreciate every one of you for voting for Duncan. It means more than you guys realize. Thank you very much.
Wrapping up tonight's award, we got the Age Trotter of the Year, a mare that's been great to the state of Ohio, refined. Sire Uncle Peter, Damn Reinvent, out of a Malabar man. Seasonal earnings of $209,674 and a mark of 151-2. 25 starts, 9 wins, and 6 seconds. Virgil Morgan trained, Dan Noble drived. Joyce McClellan and Larry Wills owns. The breeder was Walnut Hall Stock Farm, and the caretaker was Kevin Grofton. Some notable wins was the Ohio Sire Stakes Veterans Championship and the Ohio Breeders' Championship. With the connections, please come forward.
They don't make many like that. They really don't. We bought this mare after she was racing. Virgil called me up and said this mare was for sale. I have a partner I think you can get along with. If you know Larry, it's questionable. But to buy her like we did, and she's gone over $1 million. We're going to try to race her again next year. But she really deserves this award. We thought she was going to win it a couple years ago. She didn't, but she did now. And for Virgil to take Refined and Sugar Instead and keep them at the top of their game the whole year and win the races they did, it's certainly a badge of his honor and his team. So maybe Virgil could have a thing to say.
I'll just say she's very special, and it's a pleasure to train her. Thank you.
Ann Lufkin is the artist responsible for painting tonight's Horse of the Year winner. Ann is not able to be with us tonight, and we miss her and wish her and Ray well. At this time, would OHHA President Scott Mogan please come to the stage?
Thank you, Michael. Before I award this last award of the night, on behalf of the entire OHHA Board of Directors and our staff, I'd like to congratulate all the winners tonight. Last award is the 2024 Ohio Horse of the Year. If you'll turn your attention to the big screens, here are your 3 finalists for the 2024 Ohio Horse of the Year.
The finalists for the 2024 Ohio Horse of the Year are Seaside Diva. Seaside Diva, the Ohio 3-year-old The filly finalists pacer for of the the year, 2024 hit the board in Ohio 17 Horse of the 20 Year. The finalists for the 2024 Ohio Horse of the Year are the finalists for the 2024 Ohio Horse of the Year. Seaside Diva. Seaside Diva, the Ohio 3-year-old filly pacer of the year, hit the board in 17 of 20 starts, winning 13. Owned and bred by Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Bruchemi, Knox Services, and Let It Ride Stables, Seaside Diva captured 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes and the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship. She also won the James Hackett Memorial, the Nadia Lobel, and the Ohio State Fair Stakes. In 2024, Seaside Diva earned $572,790. Sippin' on Sea Rock. Sippin' on Sea Rock, the Ohio 2-year-old colt pacer of the year, won 6 of 11 starts in 2024. Owned by Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Bruchemi, RAS Racing and Knox Services, and bred by the Trent Stoller Stable and Alicia Binkley. Sippin' on Sea Rock is the fastest 2-year-old in history, pacing a mile in 1:48 and 2. Sippin' on Sea Rock won 2 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes and the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship. In 2024, Sippin' on Sea Rock earned $568,000. Sugar Instead. Sugar Instead, the 3-year-old filly trotter of the year, won 15 of 17 races in 2024. Owned by Joyce McClellan and Larry Wills and bred by Elmer Miller, Sugar Instead won the Ohio Triple Crown in 2024, winning the Ohio State Fair Stakes, the Ohio Breeders' Championship, and the Ohio Sire Stakes Scarlet Championship. She also won 4 legs of the Ohio Sire Stakes. In 2024, Sugar Instead earned $541,739.
And your 2025 Ohio Horse of the Year. Oh, gotta open another page. Sugar Instead.
Well, I know you've heard enough speeches. The only thing I can say is she deserves it. You know, she really does. She, for an Ohio horse to not go out of Ohio much, we did go to the Breeders' Crown. We weren't real successful there, but for her to race in Ohio and a couple times over in Indiana and make $1 million, some of you people who's been in business a long time, that's very, very difficult to do. And when now we do have a hell of a program. So thank you very much from Sugar and Stead.
Give one more round of applause to the connections of Sugar and Stead and all of tonight's winners. We will distribute the 4th annual Horse of the Year poker chip, as well as playing cards with all of the divisional winners on them, to each table. Please share with everyone at the table. Once again, if you haven't done so, please pick up your raffle prizes. A silent auction that lasts until 10 p.m. to benefit Pacer will go on during the after party for the divisional winners banners that are hanging on the wall in the lobby. Please bid often and bid high. There is an after party in the upper atrium here this evening. Thanks so much for coming to the banquet tonight. OH! Have a great night, everybody.